Hello, darlings, and welcome to another episode of Stories with Scarlett. How has your week been? I feel like it's been longer than a week. It really feels that way. It's weird because it's only been like a week and a couple days, I think, but how have you been doing? Let me know in the comments. I had a pretty fun week. So on last weekend, I decided for the first time ever to go to the San Diego Oddities and Curiosities Expo. I had so much fun. And yeah, I'm so happy that I had the opportunity to go. It was something on my list for several years, and I just never could either like get the time off of work to go, or just there was always like another conflicting plan. So I'm really happy that I got a chance to go. For those of you that don't know, the Oddities and Curiosities Expo is basically a space for all things, strange and unusual. Everything is ethically sourced and completely legal to own there. You'll find a lot of taxidermy, really interesting dark art, beautiful jewelry. You have vendors that are doing divination and reading tarot and things of that nature too. So it's a really special place. I only ended up having a ticket for one day. And in all honesty, I wish that I had gone for the entire weekend because I had such a good time. So yeah, it was just a total blast. I'm so happy that I went. I ended up meeting a couple really neat people. I, went to see several different vendors, and I even watched a man on stage get stapled, which was an absolute blast for me. But yeah, I just wanted to go ahead and kind of share that little fun thing that I did over the last week or so. And I did get some really cool goodies too in the process. So I'm going to share those with you as well. I had to literally, it was to the point where if I didn't leave when I left, I would have spent an absurd amount of money. Because there were so many amazing vendors there, and I wanted something from everybody, and I just knew that my wallet was going to say no. So we really tried to restrict ourselves, and I was very focused while I was there, which was really positive, but next year I think I want to save up a little bit more money just so I can be there the whole weekend and really kind of soak in the full experience, because I really enjoyed it. I enjoyed even just people watching too. So many people were just like wearing really neat clothing. And I just felt like I was around my people. So it felt really comforting to be there as well. So I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to dive right into showing you some of the things that I got last weekend. And then I also want to read a couple chapters from our book that we've been reading together. And it's kind of crazy because we're getting close to the end. I know that I've skipped a couple chapters, and I've skipped, because in the book there's songs, there's a couple poems, there's even like some games that you can play with friends, and it kind of details that out as well. But it's kind of crazy because we're almost done with this book, and I'm so excited to get to the next volume of this, or whatever else we want to do. We'll play it by ear. So just taking a sip of my tea. Wink, wink. I don't know how to wink, so just pretend. Some of you may be asking, Scarlett, why are you dressed in a sequin dress? Why do you look like you're going to some kind of ball? I don't dress like this all the time. I just want to be super transparent with that. I usually like to dress really comfy and cozy especially when it's my day off. But I had a photo shoot this morning, so this was kind of our getup, and I was just like, you know what? Let's just rock this for the video too, because it's just such a pretty dress, and why not? Right, Ghosty? Why not? He was there for the photo shoot, and he absolutely approved. just so you were wondering. All right, let's go ahead and just dive into my Oddities and Curiosities Expo haul. And let's go. So item number one, this was the first item when I'd walked in. This was one of the first vendors that I went to and purchased something from. And it's this really, really cute Art the Clown from Terrifier compact mirror. I loved it. I immediately had to get it when I saw it. I recently saw Terrifier 3 during Christmas, and I really enjoyed it. I know that there's not much of a storyline to it, but I'm kind of a sucker for a good slasher. And I have a little bit of a crush on Art the Clown too. I think that there's something about like a guy that isn't afraid of a little bit of blood and is really funny and makes me laugh that I guess I'm just a sucker for that. But here's my mirror. Double-sided. Hopefully you can see it a little bit better this time around with like some of the items that I'll show you. But yeah, just a really cute thing to keep in my makeup bag. All right, let's get to the next item. This was the second vendor that I went to, and I wanted to get a reading from the person that was there, but I could just see that there was like a line forming up, and I'm just somebody who was like, okay, I think patience is something that I would like to work on myself. So, I just didn't have the patience in that moment to wait, but the entire vendor space that they had was so beautifully decorated and beautifully done with just candles, velvet, the way they displayed everything. I really, really appreciated it. Oh, by the way, I feel like I should also mention who these artists are as well. I'm going to definitely link them below because I would love for you to support their work and their shops. So to go back to the Art the Clown compact mirror, this was from a vendor named Rotten Glam. So I will be linking everyone's details below. And I think that a good majority of them are local to SoCal as well, which is really, really cool, especially if you're local too. So yeah, this carnelian necklace was from a vendor called Vita Mortis. And I love wearing carnelian. I don't know if you can see. I don't really want to go up too close, but just because this dress is a little bit short. But it's this beautiful carnelian charm. And I'm actually wearing carnelian right now. I wear this carnelian heart all the time. And the reason I love to wear carnelian is because I feel like it really balances out my emotions very well. I feel very stable when I'm wearing carnelian. I feel like I have a boost of confidence, and it helps me get over any sort of fears that I have in my life at that time. Just to be able to like gracefully overcome those fears. So carnelian's almost always on me in some capacity. And when I saw this beautiful necklace from that vendor, I knew I just had to do it just to add to my collection. So carnelian necklace from Vita Mortis. Absolutely love. The next thing I got was another piece of jewelry, and I was immediately drawn to these the second that I saw them. And they are beetle wing earrings. Yes, beetle wing earrings. And I believe the vendor's name is Asana Natural Arts. I hope I got that right. Regardless, I will have everything spelled correctly and everyone's social media accounts linked below so that you can find them too. But I was just so blown away by the color of these beetle wings. It's like a beautiful, beautiful iridescent. I hope you can see it. It's this beautiful iridescent. And I was just completely blown away. Like the price point was amazing as well. And it was nice because you got to read a little bit about the beetle specifically too, where it was hanging, which was neat. So this specific beetle is called the Electra elytra sternocera. I hope I pronounced that right. And if I didn't, I apologize. Their origin is in Thailand, and their iridescence is common to this sort of beetle, and it's due to microscopic texture in their cuticles, which selectively reflects specific frequencies of light in particular directions. Adults live an average of 3 to 4 weeks and belong to the Buspardidae family. I'm not sure if I pronounced that correctly, and I apologize if I did not. But this little information card came with my earrings, and I just really, really appreciated that. They were so beautiful just hanging up there that I just knew I had to have them. So there were so many amazing vendors there. I can't even describe to you the amazing vendors, and just, I was completely obsessed. I really wanted to stay the entire time, or at least for like a little bit longer. I just knew that I didn't have the self-control to do it, if I'm being totally frank and honest with you. I just knew I didn't have that self-control. So we left when we did. All right. Aside from, jewelry items and that mirror, I also did purchase 2 pieces of art. Usually when I go to any sort of expo or convention, I always love to get, just take home a piece of art. And not only does it kind of remind me of that day and that moment in time, but it also reminds me of that artist and their work, and how it impacted me in that moment when I was walking by their table. So I will show you this piece. I loved this. I loved their whole setup at the vendor station. It's this beautiful, beautiful pinup. I want to say eel siren type is kind of what it's giving. A little bit Medusa-like as well, but I'm definitely seeing the eel aspect in this photo. And I can only hope that I look like this as a siren. Like, so beautiful, so amazing. I loved the pinup art style of this artist. Their name is Carlations, and just beautiful work. If you love pinup, if you love just kind of the darker side of things, it's kind of like a really nice take on that, and they do this very well. So I was obsessed with this. I could not believe the price point for this when I purchased it. And yeah, I'm definitely following them on social media as well as the other artists here, and I'm just, yeah, I loved it. I loved the whole setup and the way they do their art. So, all right. And last but certainly not least is my Skello kitty. Come on. How cool is this? So I immediately, there was no hesitation. When I walked past this vendor and saw this, I was like, yep, you're coming home with me. That's absolutely what's happening. And just completely obsessed. I'm so excited to get frames for both of these pieces. But this artist, their name is Mallory Hart. Mallory Hart Art is their full handle, I believe, on social media. Absolutely obsessed. So happy with just, again, I had to leave when I could because it was just so tempting to be there. So tempting. Yeah, just crazy. All right, well, that was my haul. I hope you enjoyed it. As I said earlier, I will definitely link the artists and their social media accounts below. That way you can check out their work. If you saw something that you really liked and you wanted to pick up a piece, that'll be there for you. And please let me know if you were in the comments. Just please let me know in the comments below if you happen to also be at the expo. And tell me about your experience. Was it also your first time? Did you make any new friends? What was kind of like the highlight of your time there? Let me know. All right, well, let me just take a sip of my tea and then we will jump right into our book. and we'll read a couple chapters from here. I hope you guys have been having a good week. I feel like this has been a big week of reflection for me, personally. I feel like I've been reflecting on just my life, my career, kind of where I want things or want to see things go. And it's been very eye-opening. It's been very humbling, I think, coming to terms with certain things. And I'm excited to see where the future, what the future holds. And, I would love just like, eventually, I'm craving just some stability when it comes to my career, because I feel like I've bounced around a lot, and I've really tried to find stability in different sectors and in different ways. And there's always something that's just like a little bit off. And I'm really happy in the space that I'm in currently, but I do think that, upon reflecting, there are some changes that I would like to make this year. So I'm excited to see what that looks like. And yeah, we'll just see. We'll see where the whole journey takes us. Alrighty. Let's get right into it. Move it right here. Can you tell I'm a control freak? All right. Well, let's start with this next story. It's called May I Carry Your Basket? Sam Lewis spent the evening playing chess at his friend's house. It was about midnight when they finished their game, and he started home. Outside, it was icy cold and as quiet as the grave. As he came around a turn in the road, he was surprised to see a woman walking ahead of him. She was carrying a basket covered with a white cloth. When he caught up to her, he looked to see who it was, but she was so bundled up against the cold, it was hard to see her face. "Good evening," Sam said. "What brings you out so late?" But she didn't answer. Then he said, "May I carry your basket?" She handed it to him from under the cloth. A small voice said, "That's very nice of you." And that was followed by wild laughter. Sam was so startled that he dropped the basket, and out rolled the woman's head. He looked at the head, and he stared at the woman. "It's her head," he cried, and he started to run, and the woman in her head began to chase him. Soon, the head caught up to him. It bounded into the air and sunk its teeth into his left leg. Sam screamed with pain and ran faster. But the woman in her head stayed right behind. Soon the head leaped into the air again and bit into his other leg. Then they were gone. Oh my gosh. I would be so freaked out if a head was just like going after me. Like I'm running and it's just this head that just keeps following me. That is spooky. All right, this is a side excerpt in this book. And basically it's titled Other Dangers. So it states, most of the scary stories in this book have been passed down over the years, but the ones in this specific chapter have been told only in recent times. They are stories that young people often tell about dangers we face in our lives today. Ooh, these are going to be good. It's been a while since I've read this book, so I'm excited for this. But also, yeah, adulting sucks. So find the little joys where you can, okay? And don't let anybody shame you for anything that you like. You know, if you like oddities, don't let anybody shame you. If you feel like you're an outcast, embrace the things that make you different. Because I can assure you, those things are what make you so unique and unlike anybody else on this planet. So don't let anybody tell you that you're not good enough, that you're weird, that you're unusual. And honestly, take weird as a compliment, because who wants to be like everybody else, right? So, side note, life is really hard, adulting is really hard, but don't let life beat you down, and don't let it take away like sparks of your joy. You know, if there's something that you really liked as a child, you know, continue to enjoy that. Don't let people shame you for the things that you like, because, you know, living life every day can be difficult, you know, and a lot of things get thrown your way. So just don't forget that. All right. Okay. On to the next chapter. So this one is called The Hook. Donald and Sarah went to the movies. Then they went for a ride in Donald's car. They parked up on a hill at the edge of town. From there, they could see the lights up and down the valley. Donald turned on the radio and found some music. But an announcer broke in with a news bulletin. A murderer had escaped from the state prison. He was armed with a knife and was headed south on foot. His left hand was missing. In its place, he wore a hook. "Let's roll up the windows and lock the doors," said Sarah. "That's a good idea," said Donald. "That prison isn't too far away," said Sarah. "Maybe we should really go home." "But it's only 10 o'clock, said Donald. "I don't care what time it is," she said. "I want to go home." "Look, Sarah," said Donald. "He's not going to climb all the way up here. Why would he do that? Even if he did, all the doors are locked. How could he get in?" "Donald, he could take that hook and break through a window and open a door," she said. "I'm scared and I want to go home." Donald was annoyed. "Girls are always afraid of something," he said. And as he started the car, Sarah thought she heard something or someone scratching at her door. "Did you hear that?" she asked as they rode away. "It sounded like somebody was trying to get in." "Oh, sure," said Donald. Soon they got to her house. "Would you like to come in and have some cocoa?" she asked. "No," he said. "I've got to go home." He went around to the other side of the car to let her out. Hanging on the door handle was a hook. Okay, this is a prime example of women having spot-on intuition. And fellas, listen to a woman if she has an inkling about something, because our intuition is usually spot on. And we second guess ourselves because people constantly second guess us. And we shouldn't second guess ourselves because our instinct is chef's kiss a lot of the time. So why would she make that up? Anyway, listen to your intuition is the moral to that chapter. On to the next chapter. And this will be the last one that I think I read before we get into the other segments, because we're getting close to the end here. So I'll finish this up with the white satin evening gown. A young man invited a young woman to a formal dance, but she was very poor, and she could not afford to buy the evening gown she needed for such an occasion. "Maybe you can rent a dress," her mother said. So she went to a pawn shop not far from where she lived, and there she found a white satin evening gown in her size. She looked lovely in it, and she was able to rent it for very little. When she arrived at the dance with her friend, she was so attractive, everyone wanted to meet her. She danced again and again and was having a wonderful time. But then she began to feel dizzy and faint, and she asked her friend to take her home. "I think I've danced too much," she told him. When she got home, she lay down on her bed. The next morning, her mother found that her daughter had died. The doctor did not understand what had caused her death, so he had the coroner perform an autopsy. The coroner found that she had been poisoned by embalming fluid. It had stopped her blood from flowing. There were traces of the fluid on her dress. He decided it had entered her skin when she perspired while she was dancing. The pawnbroker said he bought the dress from an undertaker's helper. It had been used in a funeral for another young woman, and the helper had stolen it just before she was buried. Wow. Wow. I kind of think that's my favorite chapter so far, in all honesty. On the positive swing of things, she passed away literally having the time of her life. She looked amazing in that gown. She was magnetic at the dance and literally danced the night away. But that is really, really sad, because it's like, who knows what her life could have been after, like what her life could have been like after that dance. You know, she was so magnetic. She was probably making all these friends. And then to literally die because there's embalming fluid that's basically still in the gown you're wearing, and it's essentially getting into the pores of your skin, and then you pass away that way. That's so devastating, but also kind of punk rock at the same time. Anyways, I think that's my favorite chapter so far. If you have a favorite chapter, I would love to hear about it in the comments. But thank you so much for being with me today and just letting me read to you, letting me show you my little Oddities and Curiosities Expo haul. Again, I will link those creators below, and let me know if you were at the expo too, and I would love to connect on that. So thanks again for being here, and I'm so excited for the next episode. Have a great rest of your night.